In this problem, we're told to solve base 4 raised to the x minus 3 power is equal to base 3 raised to the 2x power. Since we cannot make the bases the same, so our base 4 and our base 3 cannot be made to be the same base, then we need to take the logarithm of each side. So we'll take the logarithm of the left-hand side. Log of 4 raised to the x minus 3 power is equal to log of 3 raised to the 2x power. Now we're allowed to move our exponents in front of the logarithms. So on the left-hand side, we'll need to put x minus 3 in parentheses so that we can distribute log of 4. And then we'll move 2x in front of log 3. Now we'll distribute log 4 into our parentheses. So x times log 4 and then a negative 3 times log 4. Now we need to try to get our x's on the same side. So what we'll do next is we'll move our x's together, and then we will put the values that don't have an x, which is called our constants, by itself on one side. So if we move our x values together based on what I saw that you did in the problem that you wrote out, you moved your x's to the left and you moved the constant that didn't have an x to the right. So I'll do the same thing. I will move my 2x to the left-hand side, so I leave my x log 4 where it is. I move my 2x, so I end up subtracting 2x log 3. And then I will move this constant to the right-hand side, and to move it, I have to add it to the right-hand side, so I get 3 log 4. Now, when I look at this problem, I have on the left-hand side, both of my terms have an x. So this term has an x and this term has an x. So we can factor out an x. So if we factor out an x, we're left with x times the log of 4 minus 2 log 3 equals 3 log 4. Now that I have my x factored out, I want to take the binomial, and that's these two terms here that's being multiplied times x, and I want to divide both sides by that binomial. So I'm going to divide the left-hand side by log 4 minus 2 log 3. And what I do to one side, I have to do to the other. Now, if you'll notice on the left-hand side, we can divide that binomial out, so these divide out, leaving me with only an x. And on the right-hand side, it's equal to 3 log 4 divided by log 4 minus 2 log 3. And I believe this is what you got as your exact answer when you sent me the picture of your work. So what we want to look at now is how you would enter it in your calculator. So what you have to be careful of when you enter it in your calculator is that the denominator must be in parentheses. So you want to make sure that your denominator is in parentheses when you are entering this in. So I'll just put parentheses here in this pink color. Now, if your calculator is like mine, then it's going to automatically open a parentheses for whatever you're taking the logarithm of. So here on the numerator, it's going to open a parentheses as I type in the log, so I've got to close it. And then down here, it'll open a parentheses as I type in the log. I have to close it, and the same thing here. So that may be where your mistake is entering it in the calculator. It's the same idea if your numerator was a binomial, which means it has two terms. So in the denominator, here's a term and here's a term, so that makes it a binomial. If the numerator had two terms, then you would also have to put these parentheses around it when you type it into your calculator. So after typing it in the calculator, your answer should be x equals negative 5.128533874. And you would round based on what the directions tells you to round to.